What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel, and this is my review for the new horror film, The Invisible Man. This movie was directed by Leigh Whannell, and it stars Elisabeth Moss as a woman who breaks off her relationship with her abusive ex-boyfriend who dies by an apparent suicide, and she gets entrusted with $5 million from his will. Soon she begins to realize that someone invisible is following her and making her life a living hell. She is trying to figure out if it truly is her ex-boyfriend doing all of this. This is a movie that has been in my top 10 most anticipated films of 2020. I love the concept. I love the fact that they're changing the original lore of what we do know about the Invisible Man and bringing it this more slasher vibe to this film. This movie, overall, is a very good movie. This is a very entertaining film. However, it's not amazing. It never pushes past the threshold to me between great and absolutely incredible or amazing. And there are a couple reasons that I will get into in this review. But let me talk about the things that I actually like about this film first and foremost. This is a movie that has incredible acting by Elisabeth Moss. She is fantastic in this film. And I remember watching her in Us from last year, and I thought she was really good in the small role that she had in that film. And in this movie, she really brings it. She truly feels like someone who's being tormented, who's being followed and stalked by this entity that she knows is out there, that everyone else doesn't believe her, and it kind of makes her almost go psychologically insane. And that's what she does so well in this movie, is selling her insanity, selling how crazy she truly is becoming due to this entity and due to this force beyond nature. Another thing that really stands out to me about this movie is the fact that this movie truly does feel like a straight up slasher, especially towards the latter half of the film. I think the first half, it's more of kind of a stalking thriller, and then the latter half of the movie really kind of kicks into the slasher horror vibe, and I loved it. Every single slasher element that they put into this film, I absolutely was so engaged. I was hooked, and the movie just continued to get better and better. But that first half, to me, struggled a little bit to really keep my attention and my attentiveness as the movie kind of started progressing more into a slasher angle, especially with one certain scene. I'm not going to talk about that scene. Obviously, I don't want to give away spoilers, but it blew my mind, and the movie just got way more entertaining, and it just kind of upped the stakes towards the end of the film, which I truly enjoyed. Another positive for me about this film is I love the setting. I love the way that the movie is shot. To me, it feels very small. It never truly tries to go out there. It knows exactly what it is. It's very contained. And that to me is a highlight of this movie, because if they would have tried to make it some like grandiose, out there, grand scope type of a film, the movie wouldn't have been able to sell me on this simple kind of stalking premise. But because this movie feels so small scale, everything kind of feels so close and contained, the movie progresses naturally, and it feels like it completes its runtime in an appropriate time. So when the movie concludes, you don't feel like there's something missing, or you don't feel like the movie did too much. This movie knows exactly what it goes for, and it sells you on that idea. And because it's very contained, the movie is able to elevate every single level of the slasher element, every single level of the horror element as the movie continued to progress. The issues that I have with this movie are small. They're not major, and they're not very grand, but this is why, to me, the film has not crossed that threshold of becoming an amazing film for me. Number one, the biggest issue I have with this movie is that this movie is very slow in the first half. It keeps you invested, but there's only so much that they can do. And when the Invisible Man is stalking Cecilia, it almost feels like the movie has to continue to go on with that gimmick, and it gets a little old, and you kind of just want the movie to progress. You want there to be more action. You want there to be more stakes involved, because it's really just, let's mess with the psychology of this character, and then that's it. But when the movie finally flips and you have the one scene that turns this entire movie around for me, that's when the movie gets even more fascinating, and that's when the movie actually becomes excellent. But that first hour does not really sell you a lot on this movie. It's just a lot of slow stalking. It's just a lot of, let's mess with the sanity of this character. And that got a little old after a while. Now, it might work for some of you, but for me, it did get a little old. It was like, okay, I've seen this before. I know where we're going. I'm nitpicking for sure, but it was something that I definitely felt like they were going to the well too often in the first half of the movie and trying to, how can we torment this character? My second and final issue with this movie is that the movie, it takes things very seriously and it never truly feels fun in certain elements. Like, the movie is very serious because it deals with abuse in relationships and abuse of power and, you know, degrading women. And I understand that, and I'm totally about that. Like, I'm totally fine with that in the film. But the movie, with the idea that they have for this film, they could have done something a lot more fun and a lot more original and holistic and kept me continually entertained. But because the movie tries to really take this matter seriously and take a more serious approach, I feel like that might have been a negative to the actual film. Overall, guys, this is a very good movie. I highly recommend you go check out Invisible Man. It is one of the better films that has been out so far in 2020. It's early, but it's probably like one of the better films for sure. Anyway, guys, what did you think of The Invisible Man? Let me know down below in the comment section of this video. Make sure you guys drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel for more content just like this. And as always, I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.